Hello, teacher.
How are you, Kian?
I think I still great.
Good. I'm glad to hear it. Okay, who else is here? Oh, I saw Duknia before, but he's disappeared. Okay, Kian. Um, and have you had a busy week, Kian?
Not really.
Not
We
really.
are at
Okay.
we are at the before Tết, so we are quite nothing to do.
All right. Okay. But Tet is not till next week. Is that right?
Yes,
Right. But you've slowed down already. Is that right?
yeah, I think so.
Okay. Good. All right. Chan Bao, Chao Gon, Chan Bao.
Hi, teacher.
Oh, you sound a long way away, Chan Bao. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, okay, I can hear you better now. Okay, good. Chami. Hello, Chami.
Hi, teacher.
How are you, Chami?
I'm pretty good, thank you. And you?
Good. I'm good, thank you. I'm good. Okay, can everyone turn their cameras on, please? Feng Ling. Feng Ling. Hi, Feng Ling.
Hello, teacher.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Good. Nice to see you.
Nice
Well,
to see you.
Okay, good. Okay, I can see you, Chan Bao. I can see Feng Ling, Chami, Kian. I can see Kian. Who else? Bao Ling. Bao Ling. Chagon.
Hello, teacher.
How are you, Bao Ling?
I'm good, thank you.
Good. Okay, now I can see you. Are you feeling better this week, Bao Ling?
Yes, I'm feeling better because it's nearly Tết.
Good. I know you have the Tet holiday to look forward to. Hope you get some time to relax. Feng Ni.
Hello, teacher.
How are you, Feng Ni?
I'm good, thank you.
Good, good. Okay, I'll just wait another few seconds to see if anyone else is going to join us, then I will start. Chami, is it cold today?
No, I don't think so. It's about 28 degrees in
Oh,
Hanoi.
wow, really?
Yes, but I think
Twen-
in Tet is a little bit cold.
Yeah,
Yes,
wow, 28 degrees already. Wow,
yes, it's really hot for me.
right. Wow, that does sound really hot. Okay, now what has happened? Just sorry, everyone, something just happened to my computer for some reason. Can you still see me, Chami?
Yes,
Okay, for some reason I can't see you. I seem to have lost everyone for some reason. Sorry, I'm just trying to fix my computer here. That's very weird. It's almost like something is pressing on my keyboard, but nothing is pressing on the keyboard. Okay, try again. Okay. Wow, Duknia. Chao Gorn, Duknia.
Hi, Stuart.
How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. How about you?
Good. I'm good, thank you. I'm good. All right, everyone, let's get started. Thank you for turning your cameras on and welcome to class for today. Of course, this is our last class before Tet, so you have next week off, of course. So I hope you will get the chance to relax and maybe go to your hometown or go somewhere where you can have a bit of a rest. Now, today, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be looking at the test that you did last week. I want to review some of this with you. I've finished marking, of course, all the speaking. I've finished marking part 1 of the writing test, and I've done about half of writing task 2. So I guess Mrs. Ha will send you the marks if she hasn't already done so. But I've given my scores to Mrs. Ha. So what I want you to do today is we're going to review both the speaking test and also writing part 1. Writing part 1, I was a little bit surprised. I thought you would do better at this. It was interesting for me to read what you had written in your answers, because it gives me a very good idea of where you need to improve. And I will talk to you about this a little more later in the lesson after we've done the speaking. But the main thing that people need to improve is the accuracy of your English. I think all of you, even the ones who got good marks, are still making a lot of mistakes with the actual words, grammar mistakes, and also lexical resource or vocabulary mistakes. So I'm going to look at a way of trying to help you fix those. But first of all, we're going to look at part 1 of the speaking test. So part 1, as I'm sure you remember, were the questions about food. Different sorts of food that you liked, the sort of food you liked when you were a child, and the sort of food that you like from an overseas country. Now, everyone did these questions pretty well. All right, so there were no real problems with these questions. You are used to these questions now. So I don't think I need to spend much more time on these, other than to remind you about these 2 things. Okay, Kian.
Yes, teacher.
Okay, Kian, can you please read what I have highlighted?
Remember to speak like you are speaking to a friend or family member. Slow down
Yeah.
and try to relax.
Okay, good. So some people, obviously, a lot of you I know were nervous doing this, and that is quite understandable. But of course, the more times we do this, the more comfortable you will get to feel with doing the test. However, some people maybe talked a little bit too fast. Some people talked a bit like you were reading out of a book or something like this. You are supposed to talk to me just like you were talking to someone in your family or one of your friends. So it's just supposed to be a casual conversation. That is the sort of style you need to aim for. And as always, remember with these part 1 questions, you just answer 2 or 3 sentences at the most. A couple of people maybe talked a little long. You don't need to talk for very long for these answers, just 2 or 3 sentences at the most, maybe even sometimes just 1 sentence, if that's all you can think of to say. But part 1, like I say here, was generally okay. There was no one who actually said, I don't know the answer to that question, which is good, because for these questions, you must always have an answer. Okay, even if you have to make one up, you must always have an answer. Part 2 of the speaking test was where it started to get interesting. Now, a few people couldn't talk for 2 minutes. So that affects your mark, of course. If you want to get a good mark for the speaking test, you must be able to talk for the entire 2 minutes. The way to do this, of course, is to practice. You must practice at home by yourself, getting a topic and then just timing yourself, talking for 2 minutes. One reason why some people couldn't talk for 2 minutes is because they ran out of things to say. They couldn't think of. enough things to say. So I'm just going to look at this a little bit with you now, just to remind you of how you can think of things to say for 2 minutes. Okay, so the first one I want you to remind you of, Bao Ming. Welcome, Bao Ming.
Hello, Mr. Rick.
How are you?
I'm a bit lazy.
A bit lazy. Okay, well, it's nice. I'm glad you made it. Anyway, can you please read, Michael, what I have highlighted?
Ielts is a communication test, not an English test.
Okay. I hope you all remember that I've said this to you before. IELTS is a test of your communication skill. It is not a test of English. A test of English would be something like identify all the verbs in this paragraph, identify all the adjectives, turn this paragraph from past tense into future tense. Okay, that is an English test. IELTS is a test of how well you can communicate, how well you can communicate your ideas to the examiner, both in speaking and in writing. So in order to show that you are a good communicator, you must be able to talk for 2 minutes, and you must be able to answer the main questions. Now, a couple of people in their answers to this talked about cities that they had already visited. Okay. The question asks you to describe a city you would like to visit in the future. So maybe this is a city that you don't know much about because you haven't been there. So you need to not talk about somewhere you've been in the past. It doesn't ask you that. You need to talk about somewhere you would like to go in the future, and maybe you haven't been there already. All right. So don't talk about somewhere you haven't already visited. Okay. Chami.
Yes.
Okay, Chami, looking at what I have highlighted, okay, what are the 2 main parts of this question? What are the 2 things that you should talk about?
I think I will talk about what city is it, and
Yep.
also explain why I want to visit that city.
Okay, that is correctly right. Sorry, that is exactly right. Okay,
Yes.
so the 2 main parts of this question, obviously, is what city would you like to visit, and explain why you want to visit that city. Okay, how you intend to get there and when you plan on visiting aren't important. Remember, you don't have to answer all the bullet points. You don't have to. Remember, this is just a test of communication, but you do need to talk about the main parts of the question. So in any part 2 question that you see, and this, by the way, this is a real one from an IELTS test. Okay, so you might get a question like this when you come to do the test for real. Okay, the main parts obviously describe the city you would like to visit and say why you would like to visit that city. Now, for those of you who found it hard to talk for 2 minutes, and it is hard if you just are thinking of a list of things, okay, you need to think of some experience or interest that you can link to the main topic. Now, a couple of you did this well, I think, by talking about sports teams. All right, sports teams that are associated with the city that you want to visit. And the two people did this. They talked about their favorite sports teams who were based in this particular city, and they spent most of the 2 minutes talking about the sports team. So that doesn't matter. Okay, it doesn't matter they weren't talking much about the city. What they were doing And why they were able to fill the 2 minutes was they were talking about something that they knew, something that was associated with the city, yes, but something that it didn't describe all the different parts of the city. They just picked on one thing that they knew and talked about that. And so they were fulfilling this requirement. Okay, they spent 2 minutes communicating, which is what you need to do. 2 minutes communicating about something. Now, as long as it has some relation to this topic, that is fine. So this is an important point, and I hope you all understand this. We're going to practice this in just a moment. So you don't need to look at each of these bullet points and come up with then just a list, because obviously after 30 seconds, it can be very hard. Once you've talked about, I want to visit, for example, Tokyo, because Tokyo has interesting sights, it has delicious foods, and it has things I would like to see, such as, once you've done that for 30 seconds, you run out of things to say, which is what happened to some people. So you need to think of some experience that you can link to the city. And this is what you are doing during your 1 minute prep time. Think of an experience or interest that you can link to the main topic. For example, as I've just said, a couple of people talked about their sports teams, their favorite sports teams that were in the particular city they'd like to visit. And they did most of the talk about their sports team, not about the city. But that was fine because they were communicating. Another example might be food. Okay, you might want to go to Tokyo because you like Japanese food. Now you can spend the next 2 minutes talking about why you like maybe Japanese food so much, how it compares to Vietnamese food, what do you like about Vietnamese food? All right, so the topic, what you are talking about, is related to this, but it is not exactly answering all the bullet points, which is fine, as long as you are answering the main bullet points. So what I want you to do now, what I'm going to go around all of you and say, I'll just see who has joined the class while I've been talking. No one new. Okay, that's fine. What I want you to do now is think of the city you would like to visit. It can be the one that you used in the Ielts test that we did last week, or it can be somewhere different. And I want you to think of a link to the main topic, something that you can talk about for 2 minutes. Kian, does this make sense to you?
I think yes.
Okay, so I'm going to just give you a moment to think about this. Then I'm going to come around each of you and ask you what your link to the main topic is. For example, you might say, well, I want to visit London in England because I'm a big fan of one of the football teams that is based there. Okay, so that is your link to the main topic. And you would be able to spend, because you know a lot about this team, easily able to spend 2 minutes talking about the team. All right, so I'm going to give you just 30 seconds or so to think of this. Remember, in the exam, you would only have 1 minute to think of this. So I want you to think of a city. I want you to think of what is the main reason or main link that I can talk about that is related to this city. Then I'm going to ask you some questions about it. So don't worry, I don't want you to talk for 2 minutes. I'm just going to ask you some questions, each of you. I'll just check how many have we got. Hùng Tinh, Thuần Nhi, Bảo Linh. Okay. Tu and Son, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good. Dung Ha, chào con.
Hi.
Hi, welcome. And Viet Ang, can you hear me? Viet Ang.
Yeah, teacher.
Okay, welcome to class, Viet Ang. Okay, everyone. So, Kian, I'll start with you, please. Kian, what is the city you would like to visit?
I think the city I want to visit is London.
London.
Because,
Okay. Because, yeah, can you think what is something you can link to London?
because one of my favorite foods, and I think I must try in the future, is fish and chips.
Fish and chips. Okay. So that's good, Kian. Can you, it's a bit hard to talk for 2 minutes about fish and chips, of course, but can you talk about food for 2 minutes, Kian?
Maybe no.
Okay, so it's got
Yeah,
to
of
be,
course no.
well, maybe you can. Okay, just think about food. So you'd like to try fish and chips. Okay, this is very different, fish and chips, to what you normally eat at home in Hanoi. So what you would then talk about for the next 30 seconds or so, Kian, is what you normally eat in Hanoi. Do you understand what I'm trying to show you?
I don't make sense about it too much.
Okay, so I will explain this a different way. I'll give you the example. So the city I would like to visit is London. One of the reasons I would like to visit London is that I would really like to try fish and chips. I'm very fond of trying different foods. Fish and chips is not something that many people in Hanoi eat. For example, when I'm in Hanoi, this is what I would eat every day. For breakfast, I might have some bread. I get up about 6 o'clock in the morning, and because I'm usually in a rush to get to school, I only have time to eat one piece of bread. At lunchtime, I have the chance to eat something a little bit more than bread, maybe some rice with something. But by the time I get home at night, I'm very hungry. And then usually my mum will prepare one of my favorite meals for me, maybe pho. I like pho a lot. Can you see what I'm doing, Kian?
Yes.
I've stopped talking about London. Yes, I'm talking about food, but that's because I know a lot about food that I eat every day. Okay? But I've been able to talk about the food because I've related it to the fish and chips that I want to try in London. But I've gone now to a topic, food, that I know I can easily talk about for 2 minutes. What do you think, Kian?
I think with my communication communication issue, I can speak about all the food
I
past
think
2 minutes.
you
So
can
I
for 2
will
minutes. Yeah, you
switch
can.
on another
But I think just
problem.
think about it the way I just did, Kian. I was pretending to be you. So I talk about what food I have for breakfast, what food I have for lunch, and then maybe what my mum might cook me for dinner. Okay? Which maybe is pho. Then I can talk about the different types of pho. And it is very easy to fill up 2 minutes like this when you are talking about something from your own experience that you know well. Okay, I think you could do that very easily, Kian, very easily. Chan Bao, Okay, Chan Bao, what is your city?
I would like to visit the Mumbai city in, if I remember, it's in Thailand.
Okay, and what topic can you link to that city?
Think their culture and their food, like
Oh. Okay, so easily I think you could talk about maybe their culture, but then you can talk about, of course, Vietnamese culture. Okay, and your favorite parts of Vietnamese culture. And maybe you would be interested to see, is Thailand similar to this or not? Does that make sense, Chan Bao? Does that make sense?
Yes, but I am thinking about compare culture of Vietnam to Thailand and also the food.
Yeah, so
Yes,
easily they are two very big topics. So you could easily talk about that for 2 minutes, I think, Chan Bao.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, good. Okay, that's good, Chan Bao. That's the right idea. Cha Mi,
Yes.
what is your city?
I talk about Da Nang.
Okay, and what experience can you relate to that?
The food in Da Nang, and I compare with in Hanoi, and the atmosphere, and there's too much thing to talk about.
There is plenty of things to talk about. That's good, Cha Mi. And just like I was saying before, once you start to talk about food, then you easily can talk about the sort of food that maybe you eat every day, and the sort of food you like, and the sort of food you don't like. And yeah, easily 2 minutes, very easily.
Yes.
Is that, yeah, okay, thank you, Cha Mi. Feng Ling,
Yes.
what is your city, Feng Ling?
I think it's Ho Chi Minh City.
Ho Chi Minh City, okay. And what can you link to Ho Chi Minh City? What topic can you link to that?
What topic can link to that? Maybe is how
What is something that you can talk about easily, that you can somehow connect to Ho Chi Minh City? That's what I'm asking you.
Ho Chi Minh is the second largest city of Vietnam.
It is, but I'm asking something from your experience, Feng Ling, okay? Like, for example, Cha Mi before, she was saying, she can easily talk about food in Da Nang, okay, compared to food in Hanoi, and very easy to talk for 2 minutes about food, okay? Chan Bao was saying, he might like to visit a city in Thailand, and he would like to see the different culture. And so he can talk about the culture in Vietnam easily for 2 minutes, okay? And then say, I would like to see how this compares to culture in Thailand. See what I mean, Feng Ling?
Yes.
Okay, so is there something you can think of that you can talk about for 2 minutes?
The difference between Ho Chi Minh and Hanoi about culture and or traditional something.
Yes, good.
Like
so you can talk for 2 minutes easily about things that happen in Hanoi. For example, easily you can talk about the traffic, okay? You can talk about the crowds of people. All right. You can talk about what people maybe do for in the evening. They go to Westlake or Hon Kiem Lake. Okay. And you can say, these are all the things that people in Hanoi do. And you can talk about these easily because you know, and you will be interested to see, do people in Ho Chi Minh do the same thing?
Yeah.
See what I mean?
Yes, I understand.
Okay, so you are talking about something from your experience, but that you can link to the city that you are going to be talking about. So this is how to fill up 2 minutes easily, very easily. Okay, Bao Ling,
Yes.
Okay, Baoling, what is your city?
My favorite city is Tokyo.
Okay, what can you link to Tokyo that you can talk about?
Where the difference of culture and communication between Vietnam and Japan and Tokyo.
Okay. Okay, good. So remember, you would just need to spend most of your talk just talking about the things you know about Vietnam. Okay. And then say something like, I know in Tokyo this will be a bit different. I'm looking forward to finding out how. Does that make sense, Baoling?
Yes.
Okay, good. Remember, everyone, what I'm trying to get you to do is just to think of something that you already know about, because that's much easier to talk when there's something you know. You are not having to make up things. If, for example, you're trying to think, oh, I would like to go to Tokyo. What does Tokyo have that I would like to see? In 30 seconds, you will run out of ideas. Okay, if you were just trying to talk about Tokyo, a city you have never been to, okay, very hard to talk about that for 2 minutes, but you need to talk about things that you are familiar with in Vietnam and relate them to Tokyo. Okay, say how you are going to compare these things in Vietnam. Phung Ni.
Yes,
Okay, what is your city, Phung Ni?
my city I choose is Paris.
Okay, and what can you link to Paris from your experience in Vietnam?
I will link the architecture.
Good. Very good. Okay, that's good, Phung Ni. So you think you could talk for 2 minutes about the architecture in Hanoi?
I think it is, yes.
Good. Okay, because of course there's a lot of French architecture in Hanoi. So yeah, very easy to talk for 2 minutes about that. That's very good, Phung Ni. Okay, that's great. Duc Nia.
Yes.
Okay, Duc Nia, what is your city?
My first city is San Francisco in California.
Okay, and you want to talk about the basketball, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Very good, Duc Nia. And you did very well, by the way, Duc Nia, with that. Okay. That is exactly the sort of thing that I'm trying to teach the others. Okay. Exactly what you did. Okay. Michael, Baoming.
Yes.
Okay. What city?
I'm gonna talk about the beauty and the traditional of Canada.
Sorry, of which city?
Canada, the beauty
Okay.
and the traditional of Canada.
Canada, did you say?
Yes.
Okay. Canada is a country, not a city. So you have to pick a
It's a
city.
country.
Yeah, you have to pick a city.
Well, it's not a country, and then I'll maybe choose the Japanese.
Okay. What? You mean like Tokyo?
Actually, yeah.
Or you could choose a city in Canada. Like, do you know any cities in Canada?
I don't remember exactly because I haven't really researched about it.
Right. Okay. Like, for example, Vancouver is a city in Canada that is famous. Vancouver, yeah. So just remember, okay, actually, I'm glad you mentioned that. Just be careful that you read the question correctly. If it asks you to talk about a city, you must talk about a city, not a country. Okay. All right. Thank you, Michael. Tuan Son.
Yes.
Okay, what city do you choose?
Actually, I will talk about a normal day in Hanoi.
Okay, this is a city you would like to visit, Tuan Son, remember? So it can't be Hanoi because obviously you live in Hanoi. So you have to choose a city somewhere else for this talk. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, can you think of a city you would like to visit, Tuan Son?
I would like to visit Berlin.
Okay, Berlin. Good. No one else has said Berlin. And what can you think of to say that you can link to Berlin?
The people in Berlin.
Okay. So you would need to talk, you would say, I would like to go and see Berlin, maybe because I would like to see how the people live in Berlin. And then you would say, this is how people live in Hanoi. And then you could go on to talk about what you do in your daily life in Hanoi. Does that make sense, to and Son?
Yes, I understand.
Okay. All right. So that is the thing, because like I say, when you are not familiar with Berlin, very hard to talk for 2 minutes about something you are not familiar with. So you just need to link or join Berlin to your own experience here in Hanoi. Okay, Zung Ha.
Yes,
What is your city, Zung Ha?
I choose Tokyo.
Okay, and what can you link to Tokyo? What from your experience can you link to Tokyo?
I can link its culture and its cuisine.
Okay, good. All right, so you can talk about the culture and cuisine maybe of Hanoi or Vietnam. Okay, and then maybe compare it to what you think is in Tokyo. Does that make sense, Zung Ha?
Yes.
Okay, good. Sorry, you froze for a moment. Okay, good, Zung Ha. Okay, good. So you would spend, I'm thinking, most of your talk talking about culture and tradition in Vietnam and how you think it compares to Tokyo. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. Okay, and last, Viet Ang. Viet Ang.
Yeah, teacher.
Okay, what is your city, Viet Ang?
I choose Liverpool.
Liverpool, okay. And what are you going to talk about with Liverpool? What can you link to that?
I'm linking for football.
Great. Okay, that's perfect, Viet Ang. Okay, so you can spend all of 2 minutes talking about football, all right?
Yes.
Which is something you know a lot about. So very easy to do that. Good. Okay, thank you for doing that, everyone. So I hope this makes sense. This is how you think of something to talk about for 2 minutes so that you don't run out of ideas after maybe 60 or 90 seconds. You think of something that you know about that you can link or join to the main topic. And the main topic in this case, of course, is a city that you would like to visit. So this is one very easy way that you can fill up 2 minutes. And again, you can do this because English is a communication test. So the examiner doesn't care exactly what you talk about, as long as it has some connection to the main topic. Okay, so you can end up talking about football, you can end up talking about basketball, you can end up talking about food in Vietnam, you can end up talking about culture in Vietnam or everyday life in Vietnam, things that you are very familiar with, as long as you can just find some small way to link it to the city you want to visit. All right. Part 3. Now, part 3 is where I asked you your opinion, okay, about cities. So remember, the questions you get in part 3 are usually, in fact, just about always linked in some way to part 2. So part 2, I was asking you about a city you'd like to visit. Part 3, I was asking you about cities in general. Some people with these questions didn't talk for long enough. So these answers have to be longer than part 1 answers. So maybe you need to talk for 4 or 5 sentences, not just give 2 or 3 sentence answers like you did in part 1, 4 or 5 sentences. Now remember with these, okay, no answer is wrong. You can say whatever you like. All the examiner is listening for, as usual, is how well you are communicating. So what your opinion is doesn't matter, just as long as you are using correct English. to talk about it and that you are talking fluently for 4 or 5 sentences. What I didn't hear much of is examples. This is one way to make your answer to these questions a little bit longer. So what I'm going to do now, remember I asked you to give me examples of the downsides of living in a big city. Everyone, by the way, those of you who didn't know what downside was, you did ask me, which is good. Remember, if there is a word you don't understand, you can ask the examiner, what does this word mean? That is fine. I know some people didn't know what downside meant, but it was good that you asked me, okay, so I could explain it. That is fine, okay? You don't lose any marks for that. If you are not sure of a word in the question, you can ask the examiner to explain what the word is. Okay, so now I'm going to go around very quickly, each of you. Viet Ang, I'm going to start with you. Okay, I want you to give me one downside or disadvantage. Remember, downside is a disadvantage. One downside of living in Hanoi, and give me an example. Okay, give me an example from your own experience. Viet Ang.
Yeah, teacher.
Okay, by the way, you shouldn't need any time to prepare this. Okay, you should know this from your own experience. What is one downside of living in Hanoi, Viet Ang?
The traffic jam.
Traffic jam. Okay, give me an example of a traffic jam. For example.
In the afternoon, we can go home fast. Yes.
Okay, I want an even more personal example than that. For example, Viet Ang, you can actually name streets for me if you want. Okay,
Yeah.
or roads. So you can say, for example, when I come home from school down this street, okay, if I come at 5 o'clock, the traffic is always really bad and it takes me at least 10 minutes to get past this. See what I mean?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, so you can give an example from your own personal experience, which again is very easy because you don't have to make anything up. This is something you already know. Zungha.
Yes.
Give me a downside of living in Hanoi.
Traffic jams.
Okay, give me an example from your experience.
So
for example.
For example, when I get home from school, I have to wait like about half an hour to get home. But I usually get home just about 10 minutes because traffic jam.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine, Zungha. Good. Okay, good. Okay, so this adds to your answer by giving a personal example. All right, and much easier way to make your answer longer. Does that make sense, Zungha, what I'm asking you to do?
Yes.
Okay, so just like you said, one downside of living in Hanoi is traffic jam. So to give an example of how it affects your daily life, that's what I'm asking you to do. Thank you, Zungha. Tuan Son.
Yes.
Okay, what is one downside of living in Hanoi for you?
The air pollution in Hanoi.
Okay, give me an example from your experience, Tuan Son.
When I go out to the road, I can see many dust, and so that I must wear a mask to protect myself.
Good, Tuan Son. Very good. That's exactly the sort of thing I want. What time do you go out, by the way, Tuan Son? What time?
I usually go out at lunch at middle of the day.
Okay, so you can use that as part of your answer. For example, when I go outside at midday, I need to wear a mask because the dust, the pollution is so bad. Does that make sense to Inson?
Yes.
That's exactly what you need to say. Thank you. Bao Ming, Michael.
Yep.
Okay, what is your downside?
The noise pollution in the data.
Okay, and what is your example?
For instance, there's an article about the air pollution and the sound pollution in Hanoi that in the city there are many cars and vehicles going around, creating many beeping sounds and like the engine sound, making so the sound barrier gets higher and eventually affects to the human's ear.
Right, that's great. So that was a very good answer, Michael. Okay, and it easily was 3 or 4 or 5 sentences. Okay, so very easy to give a long answer when you use an example. That's good. Very good, Michael. Duknia.
Yes.
Okay, what is your downside?
It's probably too overpopulated and like the traffic jams happen too many times.
Okay, what's an
Because,
example? What's an example of that?
Like after like 8 hours in school, I go out to go home at like 5 p.m. and I go to Minkai Street and and the street was like full of people and I have to like stand there like 30 minutes and I still cannot get out.
Okay.
Stressful as hell.
Okay, Duknia, that's a perfect example. Okay, perfect answer. It's great. Feng Ni.
Yes.
Okay, what is your downside?
I think it's the cost of living in a big city.
All right. Okay. What is your example?
For example, like something like the clothes or food in big city is much more expensive than the countryside, like in the supermarket or in the mall.
Yeah. Give me an example of that, Feng Ni.
For example, the clothes in the mall is it had the big brand in the mall, so it's very expensive.
Yeah, you can say the price, Feng Li, if you want. You can say, in the mall, this dress might cost me, I don't know, 1 million dong. Okay. But in the countryside, I could maybe get something similar for only 100,000 dong. See what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah, so just use examples that you know personally. All right, that's good. Okay, that's good. Cost of living. No one mentioned that. That's good. Bao Ling.
Yes.
What is your downside, Bao Ling?
My downside is pollution in Hanoi.
Okay, and what is your example of that?
For example, like every time I walk out in the street, I see people to throw their like a food or drink when every time they had rupees and then they didn't put in rupees, so it is affect a lot to environment.
Okay, Bao Ling, that's great. Very good. Excellent example. Excellent. So again, I hope everyone can see how you can make your part 3 answers longer and better just by thinking of an example. All right, from your own experience. You don't need to do this, by the way, for every single question, but if maybe you do it for half the questions, okay, it shows that you are communicating well. All right, Feng Ling.
Yes.
Okay, what is your downside, Feng Ling?
My downside of living in a big city, I think it's about the traffic jam.
Okay, and what is your example about that?
Sometimes when I go to school, um, when and when it's have a traffic jam, it's about 1 hour to go to school. It takes a very long time.
Okay, so that's a good example, Fung Ling. You can be even more personal with that, okay? For example, you can say, in the morning, I have to make sure that I leave my house by at least 6:30. Okay, if I leave my house later than that, I will be stuck in the traffic at such and such street for at least 30 minutes. Okay, does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so you can make your example very personal, okay, from your experience. And that's what makes it easy to talk about, because you are just talking from your own memory, from your own experience. Okay, Chami,
Yes.
what is your downside?
It's the traffic congestions.
And your example?
Like when I have to go to school, I'm always make sure that I have to go to school before 30 minutes because I will easily be stuck in the traffic. And like also the traffic congestions goes with the pollution, so it can cause my health problems.
Okay, great, Chami. Great answer. Exactly right. Chan Bao.
Yeah.
Chan Bao, what is your downside?
Unemployment.
Okay, can you give me an example of that?
Due to the rise of TV, communication, and technology, many people are not decide to have their past careers like going to university or study in some technical school, and they decide to make their own decision to organizing their own companies or up, like or giving making their CV to apply to some company, but their qualify is not enough, so they.
Okay, that's great, Chambal. Very full answer. Okay, that's good. Good example. And finally, Kian. Kian.
My downside of living in a city is air pollution. It's about air quality is very low. If you know last Thursday morning in Hanoi, there was a dance floor, make the viewpoint down to more than 100 meters.
Wow, great. Okay, that sounds terrible, Kian, but it's a very good example. Okay, excellent. Okay, so everyone, that is part 3. So what I'm trying to remind you here is use an example to make your answer both better and longer, and also demonstrate how well you can communicate. All right, I'll give you my example. One of the problems of living in a big city, of course, is crime. All right, there are bad people around. And for example, when I ride my bicycle into the city, I have to carry a chain with me, quite a heavy chain. And it's a real nuisance because I have to take a bag just to carry my chain in, so that when I stop my bike outside a shop or wherever, I have to be able to chain my bike to someone, so to make sure that no one steals it. All right, so I hope that made sense to you. That's my example of a downside of living in a city, and giving you an example of what I have to do each day. I have to carry a heavy chain to lock my bike up, okay, so that no one will steal it. So that is the sort of thing that you use in part 3 to make your answer better. You use an example, and an example from your own experience, which makes it very easy to talk about. Okay, so that is the end of our review of the speaking test. Are there any questions before we get on to the writing test? All right, let's look at writing task 1. You will see here 2 graphs. One is the graph that I gave you as part of the mock test. The other one is the graph that we practiced on a couple of weeks ago. Charmy.
Yes.
What can you tell me about the 2 graphs?
On the left side is the bar chart, and the right side is the line graph.
That is correct. And can you tell me something else about them?
And always talk about the stock price of Facebook, Google, Apple, and Yahoo.
They do. I'm after something even more simple than that, Charmy. Okay. Kian.
Yes, teacher.
Okay. Can you tell me something about both these graphs? What are they? Both these graphs. So Charmy described, she said, this is a bar chart, which is correct. This is a line graph. There is something else. Something else they have in common. What is it?
It's the yellow one in 2012 reached the high rates.
Something more simple than that, Kian. Something more simple. Bao Ling.
Yes.
What do these 2 graphs have in common?
The line graph.
No, this is a line graph and this is a bar graph, but there is something that they have in common. Can you tell me what it is?
I think this is. I don't have any idea.
Okay, I'll try one more time. Fung Ni.
Yes.
What do these 2 graphs have in common? Okay, one is a bar graph, as we've heard. One is a line graph. But what do they have in common?
Sorry, I don't know.
Okay, try one more. Zhongha. I know you are sitting there patiently, Zhongha. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, what do these 2 graphs have in common, Zhongha?
About its category is for technology companies.
They do, okay, which means they are what?
They are the same.
Thank you, Zhongha. Thank you. That's what I was after, everyone. The graph that I gave you to practice on 2 weeks ago and the graph here, they have exactly the same information, okay, which means that they have exactly the same answer, okay? As I have written here, both graphs, okay, show exactly the same information. Now, I've done this to try and demonstrate to you that all you are looking at in task 1, in graphs, charts, and tables, is just data, okay? The data is represented differently. One is a bar graph, obviously, and one is a line graph, but the data is exactly the same. And your job is just to tell the story of the data. Now, many students get a bit lost because the graphs, sometimes they look complicated or they look confusing, okay? All you are looking for is the data and the story it is telling you. So you can see here, for example, looking at the yellow line, which is Apple shares or stocks. So you can see here the line goes up to 35 on the line graph. Here on the bar graph, it also goes up to about 35. You can see here, Facebook, okay, over the period of the 5 years, Facebook steadily increased. You can see the same thing here on the bar graph. It steadily increased. So again, the data in both these graphs is exactly the same. It is just shown differently. All right, so all you are looking at, don't get confused by the shape of graphs and charts and tables. Just look at the data and what the story is. All right, so this is what some people did wrong, okay, in answering the question, and why some of you didn't get as good a mark as you should have. Viet Ang.
Yes, teacher.
Okay, please read number 1 for me.
Number 1, you must write 4 separate paragraphs with a blank space between each paragraph. POT.
Good, thank you, Viet Ang. Okay, Tuan Son.
Yes.
Okay, what does POT stand for?
I don't remember.
Okay, so you need to remember this. Okay, this is important. Michael. Bao Ming.
Yes.
What does POT stand for?
Paraphrase, overview, and 2 detailed paragraphs.
Correct. Okay, Tuan Son, please remember this. This is the structure for answering task 1. Okay, POT. Paraphrase, overview, 2 detail paragraphs. You must write 4 paragraphs. Some people didn't write 4 paragraphs. I don't know why, because I've told you this many times. You must have an answer of 4 separate paragraphs if you want to get a good score. Okay, if you only write 2 paragraphs, that's only half an answer. You must write paraphrase, overview, 2 detail paragraphs every time for a task 1. Okay, not hard to remember, POT. All right, number 2. Fong Ni, number 2, please. Can you read me number 2?
The most important paragraph is the overview, a short summary of the main feature, 2 or 3 sentences, no numbers.
Good. Okay, so the most important is the overview. Why? Because the overview is where you show you understand what the graph or chart or table or map is about. Okay, you are showing that you can communicate the meaning of that. This is why the overview is the most important paragraph. The overview is also short. Okay, 2 or 3 sentences at the most. And a few people put numbers in here, no numbers or figures for the overview paragraph, okay? The overview is just a summary in your own words of what is happening in the graph, chart, or table. Numbers go into the detail paragraph, no numbers in the overview paragraph. Like I say, a few people put numbers in the overview paragraph, which is not good. Just save your numbers for the detail paragraph. All right. The detail paragraphs. I'll go through this quickly because I want to get you writing shortly. All right. The detail paragraphs, all you do is describe what happens to each component or part. Component is a formal word meaning part of the graph. So, for example, in this Bao Ling.
Yes.
How many companies are represented in this bar graph? How many companies?
4.
4, correct. Okay. How many detail paragraphs do you need to write?
2 detail.
Okay. So how many companies do you put into each detail paragraph?
I think it's all for companies.
Yeah, you put all 4 companies in, but how many? You have 2 detail paragraphs. So in detail paragraph number 1, how many companies do you write about?
I think it's divide 2 and 2.
Correct. Okay, again, everyone, this is very simple. This example wasn't hard, but a lot of people didn't do it correctly. Okay, I was surprised actually. This is quite a simple graph. If you have 2 detailed paragraphs and you have 4 companies, okay, you just have 2 companies in each paragraph. Simple as that. And in 1 or 2 sentences, all you do is describe what happens to each company. All right, but some of you made this very complicated. Okay, whereas in fact, it is very simple. And task 1 is very simple. It's not hard. No matter how complicated the graph or chart looks, okay, they are not that hard once you understand the data. That's all you are looking at. So, for example, Feng Ling.
Yes.
Okay, Feng Ling, say there were 6 companies in this chart, okay? Say there were 6. How many would there be in each detail paragraph?
There was 6.
Yeah, if there are 6, say there were 6 companies in this graph,
Yeah.
okay? How many companies would be in detail paragraph number 1?
6. Yeah.
Not 6, no. Remember, you have two detail paragraphs. So if there are 6
2.
companies, sorry, how many?
3.
Yes, good, 3. Okay, so however many companies or whatever is on the y-axis, okay, you just divide it by 2 and then put half in the first detail paragraph and half in the second detail paragraph. Charmy, does that make sense to you? Charmy.
Yes.
Okay, does that make sense to you, Charmy, what I'm saying?
Yes.
Okay, so all you need to do, everyone, is just put half of what is on companies. They could be anything here, of course, companies, schools, people, whatever the graph is measuring, put half of them in detail paragraph 1, half of them in detail paragraph 2. So in your answer to this one, you needed to put 2 companies in detail paragraph 1 and 2 companies in detail paragraph 2. Very easy. That's all you need to do. Okay. Charmy, can you please read number 4 for me?
Yes, to get band 7, 50% of your sentences must have no mistakes.
Good, thank you. Okay, 50% of your sentences must have no mistakes. This should be easy for most of you. Okay, 50% is not hard to get. It means 50% of your sentences can have some mistake. Okay, so you don't need to get too worried about making mistakes, but you do need to make sure 50% of your sentences have no mistakes. Now, so in general, the answers that I got were not of great quality, okay? And they were not of great quality for these reasons, okay? Some people did not write 4 paragraphs, okay? You must write 4 paragraphs, okay? And you must follow this structure. Paraphrase, overview, 2 detail paragraphs. You must, okay, if you want to get a good mark. Okay, some people didn't do the overview very well. Okay, some people started to put detail information into the overview. The overview is just a summary of the main features. No numbers. All right, then when the detail paragraphs came, some people, they only wrote about 2 companies and forgot about the other 2. So obviously for this, you must write about all 4 companies and you put 2 into each paragraph. Again, the structure is very simple. You are all smart enough to do this, all of you. This is not difficult, okay? I think a 10-year-old can understand this, can understand what to do. So you need to make sure you are doing these 3 things. Chan bao, Chan bao. Okay, Chan bao, can you read what I have highlighted, please?
Reading the graph accurately, following the correct structure, and writing error-free sentence.
Okay, good. Thank you, Chan bao. These are the 3 things you must do. Chan bao, can you say this word for me here, please? Accurately. Can you say that word for me, please?
Accurately.
Good. Accurately. Okay. Accurately means reading the graph. You are getting the meaning correct. You are reading it. If you are accurate, it means you have the correct meaning. Okay. So you have to read the graph accurately, follow the correct structure, and write error-free sentences. Now, Mrs. Ha has told me that some of you think, oh, I'm going too slow with this. All right. That we have done this for many months. And I am going slow, I know, but I would go faster if you were doing this correctly. No one is doing this 100% correctly, and some of you should by now be able to do this 100% correctly. If you were all doing this 100% correctly, I wouldn't need to keep revising this with you. But no one, as I say, is doing this exactly 100%. Some of you should be able to be getting band 9 scores by now. So this is why I'm going a little bit slowly through this. Like I say, no one is doing this 100% accurately, and some of you should be able to do this. Some of your English is good enough to be able to understand this. All right. Some of you are making mistakes with vocabulary. Some of you are making mistakes with the structure still, the POT. And some of you are not interpreting the graph correctly. All right. You need to be able to do all 3 of these to get band 9. So this is why I am not going as fast as I know some of you would like. And I know some of you are finding this a little bit boring. I understand that. All right. But until enough of you can do this correctly, okay, we need to keep working on this. So this is the answer to writing task 1. Okay, this is the paraphrase. Very simple. All right, I've used displays here. Displays. Zungha, Zungha.
Yes.
Zungha, what is another word I could have used instead of displays, a synonym? Give me a synonym for displays.
Describe.
Yes. Okay. Bao Ming, Michael.
Yes.
Give me another one.
Demonstrate.
Yes. Okay, good. All right. So again, very simple, but people are still not doing this part correctly. Okay. There are lots of synonyms you can use in here. Illustrates, shows. Okay. Ones that you all know very well, but for some reason you are not using them correctly when it comes to the test. Okay. So the paraphrase paragraph. All you have to do is say the graph displays the share price, stock values of 4 different companies. I've called them high-tech companies, but you could say technology companies, okay, online companies, internet companies. Again, there are many synonyms you could use. I've used corporations, okay, which again is a synonym, a formal way of saying companies. It means the same as companies. If you don't know this word, please write it down, add it to your list of vocabulary. Means the same as companies. Okay. I am pleased to say, however, that everyone did start using the correct word, either overall or it can be clearly seen that. Okay, you can use either one. So I'm pleased to say at least everyone did that correctly. So all you are doing with the overview paragraph is describing very simply what happened to each company. Okay. Duk Nia.
Yes.
Okay. Looking at Facebook, what has happened to Facebook over this period?
It's gone up.
Correct. Okay. Facebook has gone up. What is the word beginning with I that means goes up? Duk Nia?
Increase.
Correct. Thank you, Duk Nia. Facebook has increased. Okay. That's all you needed to write. Again, KIS, keep it simple. Facebook increased. Fung Ni.
Yes.
Okay, looking at Google. Okay, Google is here, the red line. What happened to Google during this period?
It didn't change.
It didn't change. Thank you, Fung Ni. Again, so in the overview, okay, you can see here, that's all you need to write to get a band 9 score. Google was unchanged. Okay. Michael.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, sorry, Michael. I asked you before. I'll ask someone different. Sorry.
Okay.
Fung Ling. Fung Ling.
Yes.
Looking at Apple. Okay. The yellow line. What happened to Apple in this graph?
It's go up and down, and it's called fluctuation.
Correct. Apple fluctuated. Okay. Again, and that is all you need to write in the overview. Apple fluctuated. The share price of Apple fluctuated. And Kian.
Yes, teacher.
Okay, the last company, Yahoo, the blue line. What happened to Yahoo over this period?
Yahoo's went down through years.
It went down. Okay, went down. What is the word beginning with D that means went down?
Decrease.
Thank you, Kian. Yahoo decreased over the period. So for the overview, that is all you needed to write. Okay, Facebook increased. Google stayed the same. Apple up and down, fluctuated. Okay? And Yahoo decreased. Very simple. But again, some people didn't do this, and I'm not sure why. Detail paragraph number 1. Okay? I have looked at 2 companies, Facebook and Yahoo. Okay? Which means obviously in my detail paragraph number 2, I'm going to look at Apple and Google. All right? So this is where I put my numbers in the detail paragraph. You'll see no numbers in the overview. And I don't even need to put in many numbers. All right. All I need to say is where Facebook started. Okay, with a value of approximately 7,500, and this moved up or increased in value every year until it reached Chen Bao.
Yes.
Okay, what value did Facebook reach in 2016?
Facebook, which about $2,000.
Not 2,000, Trambal. What is this number? Not 2,000.
Oh, sorry. 20,000.
Correct. Okay. So all you needed to say for this was Facebook in 2011 started at about 7,500. Okay. During the next 6 years, it increased steadily and finished at $20,000. That's all you need. That's all the detail you needed to say. Again, very simple. Very simple. Okay. What happened with Yahoo? Viet Ang.
Dear teacher.
Okay, Viet Ang, we're looking at Yahoo. By the way, everyone, I could have chosen any companies as my first two. Okay, doesn't matter. Okay, as long as I put
Yahoo.
two companies in each detail paragraph. Okay, so Yahoo is the blue line, Viet Ang.
Yahoo is degree.
Okay, yeah, and what value did it start at in 2011, Viet Ang?
It 5,000.
Yeah, about 7,500. Remember, with
7,500.
these, yeah, you don't need to be exact. You just say about or approximately. Okay, so Yahoo started at about 7,500. Okay, it went down. What value was it in 2016, Viet Ang?
In 2016, it about 2,500.
Yeah, about 2,500. Close enough. Okay, during the period, okay, Yahoo started at about 7,500. It decreased gradually and finished at about 2,500. Thank you, Viet Ang. Okay, Tu and Son.
Yes.
Okay, Tu and Son. What happened? I'm looking at now my second detail paragraph. What happened to Apple? Little bit more complicated.
It's
Apple, in
fluctuate.
in 2011 it started at what? What number?
Started from 5,000.
Okay, then in 2012 it reached what?
It's almost reached 35,000.
Correct. Okay. So what would you say? How would you describe this, Tu and Son? Okay. It did
Increase.
what? It increased what? Increased how fast?
Very fast.
Yes. Okay. What is a word beginning with R, Tu and Son, that means very fast? Can you tell me? A word that begins with the letter R. That means very fast. That means very fast. Okay. R-A, Tu and Son, R-A. Okay, Tu and Son, R-A-P. R-A-P.
No.
Not sure? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, Michael Baoming, can you help him, please?
R-A-T?
A word that means that word begins very fast.
Rapture?
Okay. Begins with the letters R-A-P.
Rapture.
Sorry, Michael? Sorry?
Rapture.
Almost. Almost. Duknia.
Yes.
Duknia. Okay, what is the word I'm thinking of? Means very fast. Begins with the letters R-A-P.
Rapid.
Yeah, and it needs to be
Rapidly.
Correct. Thank you. It needs to be the correct adjective form. Rapidly. Rapidly. It increased rapidly. Tu and Son. Tu and Son.
Yes.
Okay. Do you know this word now, Tu and Son?
Yes. Rapid.
Rapidly. Rapidly. Okay. It needs to be in its adjective form. It increased rapidly. Increased rapidly. Good. Thank you, Tu and Son. Okay. So between 2011 and 2012, okay, Apple increased rapidly. Fung Ni.
Yes.
Okay, what happened to Apple between 2012 and 2013?
It's decreased.
Decreased what? Give me two words. Decreased?
Dramatically.
Correct. Thank you. Fung Ni. Exactly right. It decreased dramatically to about what? What value?
About 7.
Yeah, about 7. I think about 7. Close enough. Good. Okay, and again, that's all you need to say for your detail paragraph. Then you might say it continued to what? Baoling? Baoling.
Yes.
Okay, so Apple increased rapidly. Okay, then it decreased dramatically. and then for the rest of the period, it continued to
fluctuate.
Correct. Thank you. Okay, so everyone, you are giving me the correct answers, so I'm not sure why you didn't write them. Okay, most of you didn't write the correct answers. All you needed to write about Apple was in 2011, it started at 5,000. It increased rapidly to about 35,000. It then fell or decreased dramatically to about 7,000, then continued to fluctuate. And that's it. Again, it's very simple. Then the last one, of course, Google, as we know, as you can see in my answer, okay, Google shares remained at around 1,000 for the entire period. In other words, they didn't change. Okay, this, I guess, was about 1,000, close enough. Okay, this line here is 0, so this line here, about 1,000. All right. So, like I say, this is, if you had written this answer, you would have got a 9, a perfect score. All right? Because you are reading the graph accurately, you are following the correct structure for the answer, P-O-T-T, okay? 2 detailed paragraphs. All right? And there are no mistakes in the English. All right, this answer would get you a 9. And I'm sure people like Feng Ni and Chan Bao, okay, Cha Mi, Feng Ling, Zung Ha, you can all write this, okay? You know all these words. There is no reason why you cannot get a 9, you guys, for this. Okay, there is nothing here that you don't know. All right. What I want all of you to do now, though, okay, because you are still making mistakes with a lot of the English. All right, I'm going to share a document in Google with you now. What I want you to do is I want you to write, actually, I'll show you. Are there any questions, by the way, about this? All right, I hope I'm making this very clear, how easy this is to get a 9. Okay, no one got a 9 in the mock test, by the way, and some of you should have. Okay, I'm going to share the link with you in just a moment. What I want you to do, I'm going to share the link with you in chat. What I want you to do is copy exactly, all right, what is in the level 9 answer. I want you to copy exactly, but for those of you who can, I want you to substitute some of the words with synonyms. All right, I gave you a synonym before. So instead of using the word displays, for example, okay, you can say illustrates, or you can say shows, or you can say demonstrates. Again, you know these words already. So those of you who feel comfortable to do so, please just use synonyms. You don't need to paraphrase anything. Please keep the sentences exactly the same, but you can use synonyms where you feel comfortable to do so. Okay, just to, 1, show me that you know some of these synonyms, and 2, to practice for yourself using synonyms in a situation like this. Okay, so I have put the link, just in case you haven't got it already, to this document in chat. So everyone, I hope you understand what I want you to do. I want you, because I want you to get practice at writing correct sentences, I want you to copy this answer, all right? just put your name first and then copy it exactly, except where you want to use synonyms. Charmy, does that make sense, what I want you to do?
Yes, I understand it.
Okay, so obviously I don't want anyone just to copy and paste. Okay, that would be cheating. I want to, because I want to see you writing it, all right, or typing this answer. So you get practice at writing correct sentences. So no copying and pasting, please. Obviously, you can just copy and paste the whole thing in 5 seconds. That is not the idea. I want to see you write the answer. If you can't think of a synonym, just copy out my answer exactly. That is fine. But like I say, the reason I'm doing this is that I want you all to experience writing a band 9 answer. So you're using the correct structure, you're using the correct words. Those of you who feel you can, you are welcome to change the words using different synonyms, okay? But you don't need to paraphrase anything. You don't need to change the figures. Okay, so please do that now. Some of you, for example, forgot to leave spaces between the paragraphs. All right, that counts as a punctuation error. Okay, if you want to get a perfect score, you can't have punctuation errors. So please remember, you must leave a space between each paragraph. So what I'm trying to do also with this is getting you familiar with the structure of sentences. So all the little words that sometimes you leave out, things like articles and prepositions, and sometimes you put the verb or the adverb or the adjective in the wrong place in the sentence. I'm getting you to practice now putting it in the right place in the sentence, so you can see how the sentence is structured or constructed. Bao Ming, Michael.
Yep.
Does this make sense to you, what I'm getting you to do?
It does.
Okay, good. So like I say, please, no copying and pasting. Okay, I want to see, and I'm looking now, I want to see you writing the correct answer. If you can't think of the synonym, don't worry. But for those of you who can, this is a good way just to practice during this lesson using different synonyms, substituting one word for another. Because, of course, the more synonyms you have in your vocabulary, the better. This will help you not just with this test, but also with task 2 and any English writing you do in the future. Okay, your vocabulary can never be too big. So the more synonyms you know, the better. So this is practice for those of you who want to practice using the synonyms. All right, that's fine, Tu and Son. Just keep typing. All right. If you have to copy it exactly, that is fine, because at least you are practicing the correct structure of sentences. as well as the correct structure of a task one answer. All right. Charmy. Charmy.
Yes.
All right, you're going fine, Charmy, but you are one of the people who can think of some synonyms, I think. Okay, so for example, this word here, Charmy, that I have highlighted.
Yes.
Okay, what is the word, Charmy, by the way? Can you pronounce it?
Widely.
Wildly. Good, Charmy. What is it? What is a synonym you could replace that with?
Considerably.
Yes, exactly. Good, Charmy. Okay, good. That's the sort of thing I want you to think of when you're writing this, okay?
Yes.
Okay, what synonyms you could use instead of wildly. So wildly is my description, but there are many words, okay?
Yes.
Many words. Considerably, dramatically, okay? All right, thank you, Charmy. Keep going, please. Hey, Bao Ming, Michael.
Yes.
Okay, just looking here, you're doing very well trying to use synonyms, Michael. That's great that you're trying to practice. This one here, however, is not quite correct. Okay, but it's the right word, Michael. What is missing though? The word is correct.
It's simplifies.
Yes, needs to be plural. Okay, needs to be plural. Thank you, Michael. Chan Bao.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, same for you. What is wrong with this word, Chan Bao?
Needs an S.
Correct. Needs an S. Thank you, Chan Bao. Good. And also, Chan Bao, before I let you go, what is wrong? What have you done wrong with this word?
Thing I didn't know.
What?
I wrong about Facebook and
Yeah.
S.
Yeah. So what is wrong though with what you have done? Facebook is correct, but what is wrong with what you have typed?
I don't know.
Okay. The first letter.
Oh, I have to calculate it.
Correct. Okay. Correct. Good, Chan Bao. So you must remember to make capitals of names like that. Okay. Again, otherwise you will lose a mark. Okay. That will count as an incorrect sentence. So just little things like that, Chan Bao, you must remember to do. Okay, Kian.
Yes, teacher.
Okay, Kian, what is wrong with this word?
Wait. I think it's missing L, right?
It is correct, Kian. So again, remember you need to be correct with these, okay? That's why we're doing the exercise. But you are right, it is missing an L. So remember, spelling does count as a mistake. Thank you, Kian. Duk Nia.
Yes.
Okay, Duk Nia, this is good. Okay, you've used some good synonyms, Duk Nia. Okay, great. So the only thing, I have very small mistake, but it still counts as a mistake, Duk Nia, is this. Okay, this comma here.
Oh yeah.
You don't need one. Don't need one.
All right.
Okay, thank you, Duk Nia. Okay, tu and son. Tu and son.
Yes.
Okay, this word here, tu and son, what is missing?
L.
L,
Oh.
correct. Needs the L. Okay, thank you, tu and son.
Yeah. Mười hai giờ con phải đi rồi nhé.
Đi đâu đấy?
Sang nhà hay gì nữa? Nói chứ không có ai rồi.
Đi đâu nhỉ?
Okay.
Mười hai giờ con đi đâu? Nói là đi
Viet Ang. Viet Ang.
Yeah, teacher.
Okay, this is very good so far, Viet Ang. Okay, no mistakes so far. It's good, but you probably need to go a little bit faster. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Viet Ang. So again, everyone, if you can't think of any synonyms, that's okay. Just copy it out directly. But like I say, I want you to get the experience of actually writing these sentences correctly with the words in the correct order. No mistakes. So that's why I'm looking at spelling mistakes and things like that. You need to get used to making no mistakes. Hey, Chami.
Yes.
Okay, you're doing well, Chami. Do you know this word already? Is this word new for you, or do you know it?
I knew it before.
You knew it. Good. Okay, so this is good. So again, this is just another word to add to your vocabulary, Chami. Okay.
Yes.
It means the same as decreased or got less. Okay, so again,
Yes.
it's just another word to try and keep in the back of your mind. Okay, if you need a synonym for decreased, diminished. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, Phung Ni.
Yes.
Okay, just one mistake, Phung Ni. Okay, so far, so you're doing a good job, but just here. Okay.
Yes.
This you don't need to have all there. Okay. So you just say, I'll delete it. Okay, so went down over the period. Went down over the period is the correct collocation. Okay, Phung Ni?
Yes.
Just went down over the period. Doesn't need an all. Thank you, Phung Ni. Phung Ling.
Yes.
Okay, are you going okay, Phung Ling?
Yes.
Okay, any questions?
No, I don't have any question.
Okay, good. Michael, Bao Ming.
Yep.
All right. As usual, Michael, you are using some very creative adjectives here. Okay, but some of them are not quite correct. Okay.
Yes, I know.
All right. So, for example, this one, arduous. Arduous. Arduous means difficult. Arduous
Oh.
means okay. So you can't talk about. They are not for difficult companies. Okay. All right. So again, just I appreciate you're trying to be creative, Michael. That's great. Okay, and using different words. That's really good. But just be careful you're using the correct ones. All right.
Okay.
Okay.
How about advanced?
Such as this one, ferociously. That's very good, Michael. Ferociously. Very good. Okay.
Yes.
I keep that. That's okay. Very good. Very good adjective.
Okay.
All right. But yeah, again, so just be you're being very adventurous, Michael, and that's great. But just be careful. All right.
Can I replace arduous with advanced?
With sorry?
Advanced.
Yeah. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Chen Bao.
Yeah.
Okay. With these task 1 exercises, because they are always in the past, it's better to use past tense always. Okay.
So I use rose.
Correct. Should be rose steadily. Okay. And this one should be what? If it's past tense, correct. Okay. Okay. This one here again, rose. All right. All right. And it would be rose wildly, not wildly rose. Okay. Rose wildly. In this case, the adjective comes after the verb. Yeah, so past tense is always best, Chan Bao. And
yeah,
it makes it easy to remember too. You just think task 1, past tense. Bao Ling.
Yes.
Okay, Bao Ling, you're doing fine. Okay, can you just, okay, I want to make sure you understand this word. Is this word new to you, Bao Ling?
Not.
Okay, good. What does it mean? Give me a simple 3-letter word beginning with S, Bao Ling. Past tense.
Yes, so.
Correct. Good. That's good, Bao Ling. Great. You do understand it. All right. So again, remembering this is always past tense. Okay. So what should this be?
I jump.
Correct. Good. Okay. So again, just remember past tense always. Thank you, Bao Ling. Zung Ha.
Yes.
Okay, just a couple of small mistakes that would stop you getting 9, Zung Ha. Okay. All right. First one is here. What is missing?
Increase every year.
Correct. Okay. So you're all right. And the other one here. Zung Ha. What have you done wrong?
Wrong tense.
Not tense. This word here, Zung Ha. See what it should be?
Yes.
Should be fell, not felt. Okay. Does that make sense, Sung Ha? Okay, that's better. Good. Kian.
For a
Hi,
minute
Kian.
ago, I just see my thing, my right just a blackout.
Oh, really? Yeah,
Yeah,
good to
let
see.
me
It's gone
reset.
very, yes, there's not much here, Kian.
Let me restart it again.
Okay. And please remember, Kian, to leave a space between the paragraphs, okay? Okay, keep going, everyone, please. Should be able to finish this easily before lunchtime. So we have 10 more minutes. Viet Ang.
Yeah, teacher.
Okay, Viet Ang. It can be clearly seen Apple fluctuated over the period. Google didn't change for 6 years. So remember, don't really need any figures, Viet Ang, okay?
Yes.
Okay, so you can take all this out, all right?
Right.
Google didn't change for 6 years. What happens next? Viet Ang? So you've got Apple, Google. Which one are you going to do next?
Facebook and Yahoo.
Yeah, okay. What happened to Facebook?
Facebook is increase steadily.
It did? Good. Okay. So type that. Facebook increased steadily, as you can see. So just write that, Viet Ang, okay? And then as you can see, Apple's stock price or share price fluctuated wildly. All right, I'll just see who's finished. Charmy, have you finished?
Yes, I have finished it.
Okay, good. I'll just have a quick look at what you've done. What have you done here? Okay. First 3 paragraphs are perfect, Charmy. That's great. Apple stock was shared. Shared is not a word in this context, okay? It's not a synonym for value.
Yes.
Okay, so shared is not a synonym for value, so you can't use that. Sorry, Charmy.
Yes.
I know you are trying to be creative, all right, which is good, but that word is just wrong. Sorry. You could say, what you could say is this, Charmy. Watch what I'm going to type. Watch what I'm typing.
Worthy.
That.
Yes.
Apple stock was worth just below 5,000. Okay, that's another way you could say it.
Yes.
Okay, but sorry, shared does not mean the same as value.
Yes.
35,000 the following year before plunging to around. Okay, good synonym, Charmy. Plunging instead of plummeting. Excellent, perfect. And subsequently, you are happy you know what this word means, Chami?
I think it's continually.
Yeah, it subsequently just means what happened next. Okay,
Yes.
it's just saying what happened next, but just using one word.
Yes.
All right. So that's all subsequent, but it's a good one to know, Chami, subsequently. All it means is what happened. This is what happened next. So you could say, I finished the lesson and then subsequently we went to dinner. All right.
Yes.
Does that sentence make sense to you?
Yes, I understand it.
Okay, it just means, and this is what we did next, subsequently.
Yes.
Good. Decrease the ice. All right. Good, Chami. Very good. Okay. Band 9 answer, Chami. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Do you have any questions?
No, I don't. Thank you.
Good. Okay. Except for this. Was this a mistake? Here.
Yes.
Okay. Please correct that mistake.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Chami. Fong Ni, have you finished?
Yes.
Okay. I'll just quickly reading your answer. Okay. Okay, just one small mistake, Fong Ni. Okay, and it is here. All right. It continued to fluctuate from 2014. This should be not with. Do you know what it should be, Fong Ni?
Yes.
What should it be?
I think
Not with.
sorry.
It should be this again. Okay, from about, continued to fluctuate from 2014 from about 12,000 to 5,000. All right, and because it is dropping, okay, you need to say, have that word, a word in here, Fung Ni, such as falling or dropping, okay? So it continued to fluctuate from 2014, falling from about 12,000 to 5,000. Does that make sense, Fung Ni?
yes.
Okay, good. Otherwise, the rest of it is band 9, Fung Ni. Great. Any questions?
No, thank you.
Okay, good. Fung Ling is still writing. Bao Ming is still writing. Chan Bao is still writing. Anyone else finished? Bao Ling is almost finished. Zung Ha, are you almost finished?
I already finished.
Excellent. Zung Ha, let's have a look. Okay, first two paragraphs are perfect. Okay, just this word here, Zung Ha. What should it be?
Yes.
Do you know what this word should be here, where I have the cursor?
Remove the S.
Correct. Thank you, Zung Ha. Correct. Remove the S. And not risen, Zung Ha, but what? Not risen, but simple past?
Rise.
No, that's present. Past.
Rose.
Correct. Rose. Okay, rose. And do you know what this word means, Zungha?
Continue.
It means, can you say it for me, please? Can you say the word, Zungha?
Continue.
No, the word you have written.
Subsequently.
Good. Subsequently. It doesn't quite mean it just means this is what happened next. This is what happened next. Okay, so it's a little bit like continue, but not quite. It just means this is what happened next, okay? So you could just have the word next if you wanted a simple synonym, okay? I'm just making sure you understand what the word means. So the word is correct, of course, but if you just wanted a simple synonym, you would just say next. Does that make sense, Sungha?
Yes.
Okay, good. And everything else is fine, Sungha. That's great. Band 9 for you too. Any questions, Sungha? Zungha, any question?
No, thank you.
Okay. Yeah, still going. To and Son, still going. Okay. Anyone else finished who I haven't seen yet? Okay. Bao Ming, Michael, one last correction.
Hello.
Okay. All right. So, so this is fine. All right. That's
Yes.
fine. Okay. Rocketed remarkably. Great. Okay. Great adjectives. Okay. This is incorrect.
Oh,
To whereabouts. Whereabouts. Do you know how to make it correct, Michael?
I think you have to change it.
Just take this bit off.
Oh,
And this. Rocketed remarkably to about is all you need. Okay.
oh, okay.
So remember, you're still remembering to keep it simple, I hope. Okay.
Yes.
Even though you are using some very colorful adjectives, okay, you still need to keep the rest of it simple. Just use simple words. Okay, everyone, you can stop there. Can you turn your cameras on, please, everyone? It's already after 12 o'clock. Okay, great. I can see you. Good. So I hope most of you now understand how to get a band 9 answer. All right, that's what this lesson has been about. Okay, showing you how to correct so you get a band 9 answer. All right, so you need to have the correct structure. Number one, you need to have read the graph correctly and accurately. Okay, and then number three, just describe each thing that happens in the correct order. All right, that's all you have to do. So, that's it for this lesson. It was lovely to see you all, as usual. Fung Ni, I can't see you. Where have you gone? Now I can. Thank you, Fung Ni. And Kian, you are still hiding somewhere. Next lesson in 2 weeks' time, we will look at writing task 2 and how to improve what you all did for that. Like I say, with the marks, I'm giving them to Mrs. Ha, so she will share them with you when she is ready. Okay, so of course you have next week off, no lesson next Sunday. I hope you all have a very happy Tet. I hope you all get the chance to relax and unwind a little bit, and I look forward to seeing you all in 2 weeks' time. So unless you have any questions, please look after yourselves, stay warm, and happy Tet, everyone.
Ok,
Bye.
chúc mọi người nghỉ Tết vui vẻ nhá. có mấy bài mà viết cờ rất là tốt của Phương Nhi, mấy cái Trà My đấy. Còn một số bạn gì của Đức Nghĩa viết tệ quá. Đức Nghĩa được có 3,5 điểm về bài Rank Task 2 thôi, và bài Task 1 thì không viết tí nào cả. Ok, rồi giờ cô Master sẽ gửi điểm cho mọi người nhá. Goodbye everyone. Ok.
Bye.